Welcome to this training brought to you by the North San Diego County Realtors, where we turn real-world case interpretations published by the National Association of Realtors into practical lessons that strengthen your understanding of the Code of Ethics in action. Today's focus: disclosure of existence of offers to prospective purchasers from Case Interpretation 1-28 under Article 1 of the Realtor Code of Ethics. Article 1 calls realtors to act in their client's best interest while also maintaining honesty with all parties. This includes following the client's lawful instructions, especially when those instructions involve disclosures that could influence a buyer's decision. Standard of Practice 1-15 makes this clear. With the seller's approval, realtors shall disclose the existence of offers to cooperating brokers. But what happens when a listing agent chooses not to follow that direction? Let's take a look at a case where a realtor ignored that permission and may have lost their client a better deal.
Seller S listed her home for sale with Realtor B. The property was priced reasonably, and Realtor B was confident it would sell quickly. The listing agreement included the seller's authorization for publication in the MLS and authority to disclose the existence of offers to prospective purchasers. Within days, Realtor B had shown the property to several prospective purchasers, and one of them, buyer Z, wrote a purchase offer at close to the asking price. Realtor B called Seller S to make an appointment to present the offer. After hanging up with Seller S, Realtor B received another call, this time from Realtor A. Realtor A explained that he represented a buyer who was interested in making an offer on Seller S's property. Realtor A explained that while his buyer client was quite interested in the property, price was also a concern. He asked Realtor B if there were other offers on the property, indicating that his buyer client would likely make a higher offer if there were competing offers on the table. Realtor B responded telling Realtor A, "That's confidential information. Please tell your client to make his best offer." Taken aback by Realtor B's comments, Realtor A shared them with his buyer client, who chose not to make an offer and instead pursued other properties. Buyer Z's offer was accepted by Seller S later that evening, and sometime later, the transaction closed. Several months afterwards, Seller S and Realtor A met at a social event. Realtor A related his conversation with Realtor B. Seller S asked Realtor A if he thought that Realtor A's buyer client would have made an offer on Seller S's home absent Realtor B's refusal to disclose whether there were other offers pending. Realtor A responded that it was impossible to tell for certain, but his buyer client had certainly not been favorably impressed by Realtor B's response to a seemingly routine question. Seller S subsequently filed an ethics complaint against Realtor B, alleging violation of Article 1 as interpreted by Standard of Practice 1-15. He noted that he had clearly authorized Realtor B to disclose to buyers and cooperating brokers the existence of pending offers, and that Realtor B's arbitrary refusal to share information he was authorized to share could have been the reason, or part of the reason, why Realtor A's client had chosen not to make an offer on Seller S's home. Realtor B defended his actions, indicating that while he agreed that he had an obligation to promote Seller S's interests, his obligation to Realtor A and to Realtor A's buyer client was simply to be honest. He had not, in any fashion, misrepresented the availability of Seller S's property. Rather, he had simply told Realtor A to encourage his client to make her best offer. "I'm not required to turn every sale into an auction, am I?" he asked rhetorically. "I feel that I treated all parties honestly," he concluded. The hearing panel did not agree with Realtor B's reasoning, indicating that he had violated Article 1 as interpreted by Standard of Practice 1-15. They noted that Standard of Practice 1-15 requires realtors, if they have the seller's approval, to divulge the existence of offers to purchase on listed property in response to inquiries from either potential buyers or from cooperating brokers. Realtor B had not met that obligation, and consequently, the hearing panel concluded that Realtor B had violated Article 1.
Seller S gave Realtor B written permission to disclose the existence of any offers on her home, a common practice intended to create a more competitive environment. Soon after listing, Realtor B received an offer from buyer Z, which he was preparing to present. Before that happened, Realtor A reached out on behalf of another interested buyer and asked a direct question: were there other offers? Realtor A explained that his client might be willing to offer more if there was competition. Despite having seller approval to disclose, Realtor B declined to answer, calling that information confidential. As a result, Realtor A's client decided not to make an offer and moved on to other properties. Seller S accepted buyer Z's offer and the sale closed. But months later, at a social event, she learned about Realtor A's inquiry and how her own listing agent chose not to disclose something he was explicitly authorized to share. That revelation prompted her to file an ethics complaint against Realtor B. During the hearing, Seller S confirmed that she had explicitly authorized Realtor B to disclose the existence of offers. This wasn't a gray area. She had made her wishes clear from the beginning of the listing. Realtor A testified that his client had been ready to make an offer and likely would have done so, perhaps at a higher price, if they had known another offer was already on the table. He felt Realtor B's refusal to answer that simple question discouraged the buyer and closed the door on a better opportunity for Seller S. Realtor B defended his actions by saying he had acted honestly and that telling Realtor A to make your best offer wasn't misleading. He believed he had fulfilled his duty by not favoring or disadvantaging either party. But the panel focused on the core issue. Realtor B had the seller's written permission to disclose the existence of offers and chose not to. His silence, while perhaps not intentionally deceptive, ran counter to his responsibility to act in the best interest of his client. The hearing panel determined that Realtor B violated Article 1 by failing to disclose the existence of an offer, even though the seller had provided written authorization to do so. Under Standard of Practice 1-15, that disclosure is not optional once approval by the client. It's a professional obligation designed to protect the seller's interest and promote transparency in the transaction. By refusing to answer a direct question about the existence of other offers, Realtor B may have discouraged a higher offer that could have benefited the seller. His silence, while perhaps not deceptive in tone, ultimately undermined his duty to act in the client's best interest and resulted in a violation of the code. This case highlights an important ethical distinction. When your clients give you written authorization to disclose the existence of offers, you're required to follow through. It's not a suggestion, it's your duty. Failing to share that information can directly impact the seller's negotiating power and may cost them a better deal. Even if your words are technically honest, withholding key facts the client has told you to disclose can still violate their trust in your professional obligations. Standard of Practice 1-15 makes this clear. Honesty means honoring your client's instructions. Telling another agent to make your best offer falls short when full disclosure is both authorized and expected. Let's reflect on the ethical decisions in this case. If you were in Realtor B's shoes, what would you have done differently when Realtor A asked about competing offers? The seller had given written permission, so what stopped Realtor B from sharing that information? Do you have a clear process in place to confirm and document a seller's disclosure preferences up front, whether in your listing agreements, MLS input forms, or internal checklists? This case also raises an important question. What happens when you err on the side of silence, even with clear instructions? While it may feel safer, it can unintentionally hurt the client's position and your ethical standing. Standard of Practice 115 is more than a rule. It's a guide for how we communicate honestly, transparently, and in alignment with our client's best interest, especially when working with cooperating agents. Thanks for reviewing this case interpretation with us. The Realtor Code of Ethics doesn't just define what's legal, it guides what's right. Following clear seller instructions, especially when it could improve outcomes, is part of your duty to promote and protect. For more training videos and case interpretations, visit www.youtube.com/@NSDC Realtors.